You ever notice how the closer someone gets to you, the more something inside you tenses up? You can be confident, disciplined, even cold when you need to be. But the moment someone tries to truly understand you, your mind shifts. You overthink. You pull back. You get uneasy in ways you can't explain. And it's not because you don't want connection. It's because a part of you learned, a long time ago, that closeness comes with a cost. Most men don't fear intimacy consciously. It shows up in quieter ways. You feel exposed when someone cares too much. You get irritated when things get too serious. Or you suddenly lose interest the moment a woman becomes available. You think you're being logical. What you're actually being is protective. Your mind built defenses you don't even recognize. Defenses that show up in your tone, your detachment, your silence, your distance. This video isn't about blaming you. It's about understanding the invisible wiring that makes intimacy feel threatening, even when love is exactly what you think you're looking for. Let's break down why you fear closeness without ever realizing it, and how to finally break the pattern. Intimacy issues rarely start in adulthood. They're programmed long before you even know what intimacy is. If you grew up around inconsistency, emotional distance, or a parent who was overwhelmed, distracted, or unpredictable, your nervous system learned one lesson early. Closeness isn't stable. Closeness isn't safe. Maybe love came with conditions. Maybe affection was rare. Maybe the people you depended on were physically there but emotionally absent. Or maybe you were the kid who had to hold everything together because the adults couldn't. Whatever the story was, you learned to adapt. And children don't adapt by talking about their feelings. They adapt by suppressing them. You learn to self-soothe instead of ask for comfort. You learn to be independent instead of rely on anyone. You learned that opening up leaves you exposed, and needing someone leaves you disappointed. So now, as a grown man, when someone tries to get close, your mind reacts the same way it did when you were young. Guard yourself first. Deal with connection later. You don't see it as fear. You see it as not wanting drama, or not wanting to depend on anyone, or not wanting to get distracted. But underneath that logic is a nervous system that remembers what it felt like to be let down, and has sworn never to feel that again. This is why intimacy feels risky even when the person in front of you isn't. The reason intimacy feels threatening isn't because you're broken. It's because your mind connects closeness with losing control. When someone gets emotionally close, they gain access to parts of you most people never see. Your hopes, your fears, your weaknesses, your past, your truth. And if your early experiences taught you that people can't be trusted with those parts, your body treats closeness like a threat. So even when you want love, your system reacts like it's under attack. You start overthinking. What if I disappoint her? What if she sees the real me? What if she leaves after I finally let her in? You feel pressure. Pressure to be enough. Pressure to stay perfect. Pressure not to mess anything up. You feel exposed, like she has the power to hurt you without even trying. And because your body senses danger before your mind finds words for it, you start pulling away without realizing you're doing it. You get distant. You get quieter. Your texts slow down. You suddenly become busy. You convince yourself she isn't right for you. You pick at small flaws to justify the distance. Not because you don't care, but because caring feels like stepping onto unstable ground. Your instinct isn't to leave. Your instinct is to protect yourself from a feeling you don't know how to handle. This is the part most men misunderstand. You're not afraid of intimacy because it's weak. You're afraid of intimacy because it feels like surrendering your armor. And when you've survived life by staying guarded, taking that armor off feels unsafe, even with someone who means well. Fear of intimacy doesn't show up in dramatic, obvious ways. Most of the time, it hides behind behaviors you've convinced yourself are normal, logical, or just who I am. But they're not personality traits. They're defense mechanisms. You might catch yourself choosing women who are emotionally unavailable, because deep down, you know they'll never require you to open up. You might lose interest the moment a woman starts liking you back, not because she changed, but because your mind panics when love feels too close. You might keep conversations surface level, avoid vulnerability, or deflect any question that digs deeper than the mask you present to the world. Or maybe you stay hyper-independent, never asking for help, never leaning on anyone, always being fine, even when you're not. To you, it feels like strength. To your nervous system, it's survival. Then there's the sabotage. You get hot and cold. You disappear and come back. You pull away right when things are going well. You look for flaws, question your feelings, or convince yourself she deserves better, all to avoid the fear of being truly seen. And here's the kicker. Most of these behaviors don't make you seem distant. They make you seem in control. People think you're mysterious, disciplined, hard to impress. But behind that image is a man who's simply afraid that if someone gets close, they'll see the parts of him he doesn't fully understand himself. This is the hidden side of intimacy fear. You're not avoiding the woman. You're avoiding the version of yourself that closeness brings out. One of the biggest traps men fall into is mistaking chemistry for compatibility. And the reason you keep choosing the same type of woman, emotionally distant, inconsistent, unpredictable, isn't because you're cursed. It's because your nervous system is chasing what it already knows. If you grew up around emotional highs and lows, chaos feels normal. Inconsistency feels exciting. Distance feels like a challenge. And unpredictability feels like passion. So when a woman comes along who mirrors that energy, the one who's warm one day and cold the next, the one who needs you and then disappears, the one who gives you just enough attention to stay hooked, your body reacts instantly. It feels like intensity. It feels like connection. It feels like something real. But it's not real. It's familiar. And your mind can't tell the difference. Meanwhile, the women who are consistent, calm, secure, and genuinely interested, they feel off. You call them boring. You say the spark isn't there. You tell yourself the timing isn't right. You find reasons to push them away. Not because they're wrong for you, but because they don't activate the wounds you're used to feeling. Your nervous system confuses emotional turbulence for attraction and emotional safety for disinterest. That's why intimacy feels strange. That's why healthy connection feels foreign. That's why the right woman doesn't trigger the same intensity. It's not that she's wrong for you. It's that she doesn't match the pain you're still carrying. Once you understand this, your entire dating pattern starts to make sense. Escaping the fear of intimacy isn't about becoming emotional or dumping your entire past on someone or forcing yourself to open up before you're ready. It starts with something much simpler: awareness. When you understand that your reactions come from old wiring, not weakness, you suddenly get control over behaviors that used to run you automatically. Because the truth is, you don't need to become a different man. You need to stop letting your past hijack the man you're trying to become. The next step is regulation. Learning to sit with the discomfort instead of running from it. That means when you feel that urge to pull away, you pause. You breathe. You ask yourself, is this really danger, or just my old patterns kicking in? That small moment of clarity is what separates men who repeat the same relationships from men who finally break the cycle. Then comes boundaries, not walls. Boundaries mean you let people in gradually. You communicate without fear, and you stay connected without losing your identity. You don't abandon your independence. You balance it with presence. You don't weaken yourself. You sharpen yourself. You don't become soft. You become precise. And as you evolve into a man who can stay calm, honest, and grounded even when intimacy feels uncomfortable, you stop attracting chaos and start attracting the kind of connection that actually strengthens you. Because intimacy isn't the risk you think it is. Losing yourself is the risk. And once you operate from self-respect instead of survival, you realize you never had to fear closeness. You just had to own it. If any part of this hit you, good. Most men go their whole lives repeating the same patterns, blaming women, blaming timing, blaming everything except the one place the change actually starts: them. You're ahead of the curve just by being aware of what's running you. Because once you can see the pattern, you can break it. And when you break it, you stop chasing pain and start choosing connection that actually builds you. If you want more videos that cut through the noise and help you understand yourself at a level most men never reach, hit subscribe. Drop a comment if this opened your eyes, and like the video so more men can actually hear something that matters. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and keep becoming the man your past never prepared you to be.